Oh, thank you, gentlemen. Well, speaking of sports, the historic Kyalami 9-hour is currently underway in Johannesburg with some of the top endurance drivers in the world putting their skills against one another. Now, this weekend serves as the second round of the International GT Challenge, with 3 more to come after this. And our very own Michael Pedro was at Kyalami earlier in the week to get a sense of how everything comes together ahead of race day.
The Kyalami 9-hour was first staged at the iconic track back in 1961 and has gone from strength to strength over the years. The competition sees some of the finest GT3 and GT4 competitors vying for top spot on the podium. We take you behind the scenes to find out exactly what it takes to put on an event like this. We are here with competitions director for the Kyalami 9-hour, Mr. Dennis Klopper. Dennis, thank you very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
For people who don't know, can you just give us a sense of what the 9-hour is about and how the race weekend unfolds?
So the 9-hour is a 9-hour endurance race, raced with GT3 and GT4 race cars, as you can see in the background. The event itself is much more though. We've got 160 support race entrants from 6 different categories. So from Thursday to when the flag falls 10 o'clock on Saturday, there's a lot of motorsport, a lot of racing. Apart from the 9-hour, support races, a lot of motorsport action. So the focus is mainly on the 9-hour, but there's a lot more than that.
Yes, how important is an event like the 9-hour for motorsport in South Africa?
Well, the 9-hour was the first race at Kyalami in 1961. The circuit just celebrated 60 years, so you can imagine how the cars have evolved in 60 years. But the essence of the race is the same. You start, you race for 9 hours, there's generally 3 drivers, 2 or 3 drivers per car, and you complete. The winner, the person who does the most distance after 9 hours is the winner. There is different classes and it's quite complex in terms of, the overall winner though is the person who completes the most distance.
Joined by Kriya, who is the host of the Kyalami 9-hour. Kriya, thanks very much for chatting to us. Just give us a sense of what people can look forward to outside of the race itself and all the festivities that go on around the race weekend.
So obviously you hear about the Kyalami 9-hour. That's the name of the whole event. So besides actually having the 9 hours of racing, we also have a full 12-hour calendar that happens around it. So the Thursday, the Friday and the Saturday is all racing, which is great. Besides that, there's a lot of spectator activity. We've got a whole motorsport festival where spectators can come and see some of the latest cars that are on offer. There's bars, there's music, there's DJs. So it's actually more of a festival than just a 9-hour race.
Kriya, how important do you think that family aspect of the 9-hour is in the wider appeal, not just for motorsport enthusiasts, but for the whole family as well?
So Kyalami 9-hour has very long history in South Africa, and I think that's also very important to remember. It's going back in the day, you know, you could bring your cooler box and your braai and your camping chair and sit on some of the embankments and enjoy the race. And that's what you can still do at the Kyalami 9-hour nowadays. And I think that element is very important because it brings in the whole family. And when you're bringing in the whole family, not everyone may be into motorsport, not everyone might be here to see the race. They want to have those other activities around it. And I think that's really important. And you could have someone like, maybe you bring your girlfriend, Mike, and she's not into racing. Maybe she sees the new AMG and she's like, you know what, Mike, this is a really pretty car. And that all kind of builds into the spirit around motorsport.
I think what attracts overseas people is South Africa. Kyalami is a great attraction. People love the circuit. It's a world-renowned circuit. And the South African hospitality here. And it's, from a fan point of view, it's a highlight for the year from an international perspective, where we can see the top GT drivers in the world competing against one another in these incredible race cars.
What do you think the overall picture of motorsport in South Africa is at the moment? Obviously, there's this event. We've been in the conversation for hosting Formula 1. Where do you think motorsport is in the country at the moment?
South African motorsport's in a strong place. It's always been a strong sport. It's very competitor-driven. It's expensive sport. But fortunately, you know, Toby Fenter rebuilt Kyalami, and that's given a much higher professional base from which local motorsport can develop and grow, and service events like the 9-hour and potentially the Grand Prix.
The circuit itself is over 60 years old, And I remember coming here when I was a little girl with my dad. And the thing that I remember the most out of all of it was the jumping castle. So, you know, things like that are the elements that you look for. And that's what's really special about Kyalami and the Kyalami 9 Hour. It kind of, as a South African, it's in our blood.
I mean, that's insane.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah. How long do you think you'd be able to drive around a track for non-stop?
No, I would fall asleep, but it's not.
But like, after how long? After how long? Like going like around the same track? Yeah, so how many?
You need to have a really good playlist, otherwise I'm going to fall asleep.
We're giving you like 30 minutes max?
No, I think a good hour, 2 hours max.
Okay, well.
Nice. I back myself. I'm like a road trip specialist. As long as it's not too fast, I could go for hours. Come on.
He might be a road trip specialist, but he certainly isn't an specialist.
Oh, no, you didn't!